Well, first of all, I do want to bask in the glory of the Freedom Force for Third Reich was the lowest selling CGW cover in history.
Did we tell you that?
Yeah, you said it on a podcast. And I was on my run, and I was like, oh, yeah. I really stuck to green. All right, fuck that guy. No,
it wasn't our fault.
No, it was my fault. And,
it wasn't yours either.
No, it was my fault.
There's a lot of shit eaters out there. Yeah, they turn their noses up at the good stuff.
Let me say one thing about that cover.
Yeah.
Because it had, you know whose fault it was?
Who?
It's this fucking company I work for. That's whose fault it was. I don't mind saying it. And I don't mean Microsoft. Because I don't work for them, and they're awesome. Games for Windows, yeah. What I mean is,
wow, Jeff.
When we were working on the Freedom Force cover, they at that point all our covers had to go through these folks in New York who are not gamers. You know, they're like magazine people in New York, and most of them aren't even magazine people. They're like bean counter people,
Right.
And we would have to run our covers through them. Yeah. And at that point, if it wasn't a franchise that they heard of, and what PC franchises are non-gamers going to have heard of in New York?
Yeah.
Almost nothing. We don't even have a Mario, right? So
here he comes, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we had Michael Jordan on the cover one month.
No, it was supposed to be a Baldur's
Gate 2 cover, and instead they said,
fly.
No one knows what that is. So they said, you should do a holiday-themed cover, and just put a bunch of holiday games on it. And so right in the center there was Michael Jordan, because it was like an NBA Live game.
How'd it sell?
It sold like shit. But so with Freedom Force, what happened was they never heard of the game. They never heard of the franchise. It didn't matter that we were saying, that doesn't matter because PC gamers know it, and even if PC gamers don't know it, we want to champion this game because we love this franchise. Yeah. They said, that doesn't matter. No one knows what it is. So we actually used the art from your game, but the cover line said X-Men. It said, look out, X-Men in giant letters, and then in tiny letters, here comes Freedom Force.
True.
And, but what they were looking at was an X-Men line with a character they never saw.
I'm comfortable pinning the financial failure of my game on those fuckers. So I'm with you. I'm going to take any responsibility from me for making that game and maybe not adding enough features and making too much like an expansion pack and maybe not marketing enough. Fuck those guys. They ruined it for me.
Right on.
They took money. They took food out of my baby's mouth. Those people.
That's the headline for tomorrow. Ken Levine blames Ziff Davis.
Yes, Ziff Davis ruined Freedom Force.
Starving his
If you want to see a Freedom Force 3, you know where to line up outside of Ziff Davis. What's the address?
No,
that's probably a bad idea.
Okay.
Fuck you, Ziff Davis.
We'll give PC Gamers address.
Have you told the story of Michael Jordan on the cover on the podcast? I think you might have.
Oh, was that the month?
I'm hoping we haven't because I want to hear it again.
I believe it was the Ken Levine special GFW.
Oh, did I?
Oh, yes, yes. Good.
When it was supposed
memory.
to be Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Baldur's Gate 2.
Favorites.
Yeah.
It's a good tale.
I remember running into Ray and Greg. I don't know if I told this part of the story, but Ray and Greg at Bioware, at that time, you have to remember Bioware was still, even though Baldur's Gate 1 was a huge hit, they were not the Bioware that they are today. They were not AAA. They had one great RPG under their belt. But at that point, that was it, really. So, the decision to put Baldur's Gate 2 on the cover wasn't quite as cut and dried as it would with, say, anything they made right now. Mm-hmm. At the time, there was still a little bit of a chosen entity. But the
only people buying the magazine back then, as much as today, though, were people who
that's true. Yes.
were PC gamers. It wasn't like some dude who's like just wanders half drunk out of the sports bar, and he's like, "Holy shit, Computer Gaming World! It's got Michael Jordan on it."
Well, certainly a Baldur's Gate 2 cover, yes, would have been more successful than a Michael Jordan cover. And it wasn't even like a Michael Jordan game. It was like some random image of Michael Jordan that they got somewhere and photoshopped in
from Corbis or something. Yeah. And then the only content there was like a 15-word micro preview of an an NBA
Live game. Yeah, right. That was
somewhere
how we
buried
justified.
Somewhere in the book.
Right. But I remember running into Ray and Greg in a bar, and they were so bitter, I mean, at that very moment, because I told them that they couldn't, over the phone or whatever, email, that they weren't, actually I wasn't editor-in-chief, but whoever was editor-in-chief said, you're not going to get the full cover because of this. We got, Ziff Davis is concerned about what's going to sell. We have to appeal to the widest possible audience. Mm-hmm. And then, I ran into them at a bar, and they were like, We didn't get the full cover because of that? Because of fucking Michael Jordan? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was great.
Did they ever forgive you?
Sure, they forgave
I would have
us.
thrown my beer on your face.
Yeah.
Should have put Michael Jordan on the Dragon Age cover just for good measure.
Oh, that would have been great. Oh, God. And now we don't have a magazine to do that anymore. What a great joke that would have been.
That would have been awesome.
So that story, that Baldur's Gate 2 story, was actually my, I flew up to Edmonton to...
Just a picture of Jordan popping up in the corner. What's going to sell?
Oh, God. It would have been the greatest in-joke. Would have got Ray and Greg mad
awesome.
all over again.
Like, most inside joke in human history on GFW number one.
I'm thinking of, like, you could have had it in the magazine. Because, like, you know in Peggle, when the guys pop up after you get, like, a big combo?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like that.
Have Michael Jordan pop up?
Yeah. Like,
Maybe they could build that into Dragon Age. Like when you level up, you get Michael Jordan popping up. Good job, yo. You got 5 points to spend now. That story that for that issue of Baldur's Gate 2, that was probably my low as a game journalist, like not being responsible and just doing the dumb thing. I was a little bit younger. They flew me up to Edmonton to see Baldur's Gate 2. I'd never been to Canada before. The Bioware guys, all wanted to take me out drinking that first night. I don't know if you've had Canadian beer, much higher alcohol content than our weak-ass American beer. I did not have any dinner, so I sat with these guys. I had 6 pints of beer, and I'm a lightweight already. I'm done after 2 normally. I had 6 pints of this stuff. I was so fucking drunk that, I mean, they were basically like carrying me back to my hotel room in Edmonton. I did not know where I was really. I mean, I'm not saying this like I'm bragging. I'm not a drinker. This was not something I'm saying with any pride. I'm just telling it because when I look back on it, it was so ridiculous. So they brought me to my hotel room. The last thing I remember that night was I was looking at the bed, and then I just like face planted on it, like fully dressed. It was like
you were mumbling.
Yeah, blah, blah.
And then I blacked out. And then the next thing I knew was that I knew I was horizontal, and I knew that my face was really cold, and it felt like I was laying on something hard. And I opened my eyes and I saw wood paneling. And then I lifted my head up, and I was laying down. I had passed out in the bathroom because I guess I had wandered in there like to throw up or something. And so what I was seeing was like the cabinet of the sink. So that was at some time in the middle of the night. Then the next thing I knew, it was morning, and they were waking me up to go do this cover story. And this is the first time I'd met these guys. This is pathetic. And this was early on in my game journalist career too. So imagine you get to do a cover story. It's a sequel to this RPG. I flew to another country to go do it.
You were the first.
I was first to see it. We got the first screen.
I wish I could have.
And
article.
Oh, it was. I'm the first person to see Baldur's Gate 2. Me. So that next morning, completely just in horrible bad shape, just really terrible shape. I had to go to Bioware to meet with these guys. I'm sitting down with Greg, the president of the company, and Ray, and they're talking to me about Baldur's Gate 2. This was I didn't have a video, a voice recorder. I just had my notepad, and the entire time that they're talking to me about their brand new game, all that is going through my head is, please don't throw up. Please don't throw up. Please don't throw up. Please don't throw up.
I thought you were going to be like, could Michael Jordan hit a 3-pointer for beer?
No, I couldn't even hear about what they were talking about. It was just like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to have to get like press releases on this game because I can't hear a word he's saying.
Man, I'm going to have to go back and read that cover story.
Yeah, you should go back and read it because
how could you even play that game? I would have such horrible associations with Baldur's Gate 2 for the rest of my life based on these stories you're telling me. I couldn't load it up without just like shuddering.
Baldur's Gate's a portal to enhanced filth.